Thank you very much. Would everyone kindly stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance today? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would entertain a motion to approve minutes dated November 4th, 2025, moved by Commissioner Lube, seconded by Commissioner Hoffman. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Our minutes have been approved. I would entertain a motion to approve today's agenda, moved by Commissioner Lube, seconded by Commissioner Erickson Galt. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Our agenda's been approved. That brings us to our one and only public comment. If there's anyone from the public wishing to address us on anything, please come to the front of the table. You'll have 3 minutes. Start with your name and your residence city.
My name is Mary Gillis. I'm from Waterford. I'm a longtime 30-year employee of the Road Commission. I came today again to request that you do something about a commissioner who has threatened and intimidated our employees. If I were to approach any of you in a parking lot and say, let's go out into the woods, I want to beat you, but you would have me arrested. And we've got the same thing that happened to one of our employees by our commissioner who you appointed. You're the only ones that can do anything about it. I want something done. My job is to make my employees feel safe. When they don't feel safe, I don't feel safe. And you all shouldn't feel safe. It's a big deal for us. We've had an independent legal entity file a report on it. You've seen the report. You don't believe it. Instead, you have the sheriff, which hasn't come through with any report that I know of, or investigative report, who he also works for on the side, do some kind of report. I'm saying you need something independent of the sheriff's office, because there's too many connections here. Please just start acting with some, I guess I'm saying dignity and civility. I see you in board meetings cutting some of your commissioners off and not letting them speak and not letting them bring things to the agenda. Start acting like you're representing the whole county because you're supposed to be. Thank you.
Anyone else for public comment?
Oh, no.
Hi, my name is Lori Doran. Thank you for answering my email. I grew up in Independence Township. I went to Carson Community Schools. I live in Auburn Hills. Commissioner Johnson is my commissioner. I have worked at the Road Commission for 29 years. I live, like I said, in Auburn Hills, and I've lived there for the past 21 years. My question today is, there's been no follow-up on what Commissioner Johnson wanted clarified as to charges. And I would love to know when you want to get in the nitty-gritty in the weeds about charges and whether or not you all can ethically or responsibly remove a commissioner that you appointed. I guess I'm here to beg you to do what's right morally, and remove this person who has threatened one of our employees, whether he has a police officer charge him or one of you bring charges against him for doing something immoral, illegal, and wrong to another human being. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment?
Yeah, I do.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. How you doing? It's me again. My name's Margaret Gupta. I'm with Oakland Township. I'm a resident. My goal is to be very loud and very clear about this. The Zoom hearing platform was designed without security and safeguards. There's no safeguards to protect and preserve the court records. I have, since the last meetings, saw you guys about 3 weeks ago. I have reached out, I've sent an email, 23 pages long as an attachment to go over all of the issues that have happened over the last 3.5 years. I even reached out to corporate counsel because when I dropped my information off with the county clerk, who is responsible to maintain records, I requested to amend all my transcripts. I have 4 Zoom hearings that I can prove that almost 90 of my statements were removed from the Zoom hearing. 90, that's 90. And I said, hey, the judicial department for the last 2.5, 3 years refuses to admit that those statements have been removed, refuses to investigate pursuant to MCR 2.612 C1, B, C, and F, which means courts are mandatory to investigate when there's allegations of fraud upon the court. I don't have just 1 hearing, I actually have 5. It started out as 1. Well, the county clerk's office did take my letter and they had to decline giving any comment and they give it to corporate counsel. My question was, why did you give it to corporate counsel? And it was kind of like disturbing. But now I understand you guys have a process. Corporate counsel has known about this since September of 2023. And you know what Mary Ann Jurgi told me? Hey, we're not talking to you, case is closed. I said, what? Why is it closed? Because as corporate counsel, they were supposed to take action. They were supposed to investigate. But the clear communication that she had with me was case is closed. That is the same communication from the Attorney Grievance Commission, Judicial Tenure Commission, Attorney General's Office, 27 complaints, Michigan Supreme Court, the Appellate Court. Mind you, my cell phone number has been designated invalid by the judicial branch. I cannot call them, they cannot call me. Michigan Supreme Court, Court Clerk's Office, Court of Claims, Ethics Board, you name it. No, but everybody says the same thing, case closed. Why did they say case closed? Because they're based on their tenure, their networking, even in front of the court. I've been here 19 years, I can do whatever I want. They're all sticking together to cover it up. Why? Because there are no files. There are no records. There's no investigations. There's nothing that they can say, we did our job. And MCL, which is a Michigan compiled law, 15.151, every employee in Oakland County has to sign saying, I swear under oath to support and uphold my duties, assigned duties while sitting in official capacity, honestly and faithfully. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Good morning, my name is Baltimore Sino, I'm from Lake Orion. I'm here today to address the elephant in the room. It's going on 6 months now since the confrontation between myself and Mr. Saki where he threatened me. It's been over 2 months now, you guys had the report. I came to you guys a month and a half ago wanting to get some kind of resolution. I'm just trying to figure out why is this dragging on? Something needs to be done about this. I mean, I went to an all-board meeting and Commissioner Gergensen said, well, you know, the road commission had a law firm do an independent study, which has worked for the road commission before, so it's a bias. But in the same statement, she said that her and Mr. Saki have been lifelong friends, so she's biased. She shouldn't have an opinion or vote in this. If she can say the road commission is biased for using a law firm they used before, but she's a lifelong friend, how should she have a vote in something like this? To me, that's total bias. I just think this guy needs to be charged and needs to be removed. Because I shouldn't go to work and worry about somebody finding me on the road and threatening me. Because I got 36 years as a road commissioner. I'm not gonna lose my job. But for this to go on this long is utterly ridiculous. You can't tell me that you guys haven't had a chance to sit down and talk about this. When you got the report, it was hidden. You had to see a special person to get it, but you know, the Open Press had it. It was on their website. I mean, why is it taking so long? Did somebody answer that for me? Why is it taking so long to come some kind of answer to this? Anybody, I mean, you can answer back. It's, you know, I'll discuss with you. I mean,
I actually can't answer back right now. This isn't a dialogue.
okay, well, I'm frustrated. I'm very frustrated right now that this is gone. And like Mary said, I haven't heard anything from the Oakland County Sheriff, that there's a report that they investigate them and they found no, I don't know that. But for an off-duty officer threatening a resident on the street, that's highly, highly illegal, I believe. I just think there's certain people on this board that shouldn't have an opinion or vote in this because, like they say, they're good friends with them. There's a bias there. You should be non-biased when you guys sit down and decide to do. You should take what's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong. If you can't set those two things aside, you shouldn't be representing the Oakland County or the Oakland County residents. Because they vote you to be in there to represent, like Mary said, to represent the whole county, not just your district. If you guys can't, I went to the county meeting and I watched Woodward talk down to, I think it's Cavalier. I seen him talk down to Nelson. I seen him talk down to Steve. I seen him talk down to Mr. Hoffman. We're supposed to work together. You guys are a big committee. You should be working together, not fighting amongst each other. And not only that, as long as I know, Democrats don't like Republicans. We all know that Saki's a diehard Trumper. So why anybody as a Democrat would want to support somebody, I don't know. But let's get this resolved, please.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Anyone else for public comment today? Yeah.
Charlie Cavell, Ferndale, represent the 19th district. So first, you all just broke the Open Meetings Act yet again, Chair Johnson, because before the meeting started, you said refresh your agenda, and what you put on the agenda is the financial disclosures, which was not given with the 18 hours notice that the Open Meetings Act requires.
Charlie,
So-
I'm sorry, I'm not going to let you do that.
Second.
I will give you your time back. The Open Meetings Act does not require every single aspect of every single item to be disclosed 18 hours in advance, only that the meeting exists. I am following the law.
And that's the standard you want to keep, which is just following the law, not giving people enough time to look at this
Charlie, our
and all
job is
these
to follow
amendments.
the law.
Give me my time and let me keep talking. So, this financial disclosure, just to give everyone a timeline. First, in February, I heard rumblings about unethical behavior going on here at the county. Then, working with the clerk, the Detroit Office of Inspector General, and other experts in ethics from around the county and the country, I came up with an ethics policy modeled exactly on what Chair Woodward and Executive Coulter put out when they were commissioners in 2012. At that same time, on May 1st, Kristen Nelson, another commissioner, put up financial disclosure and whistleblowers protections. In July, the ZadeLogix whistleblower scandal started, where we had a $450,000 conflicted pre-bid contract that was very bad. And then in August, Miller Canfield was retained by the county to do a report on the ZadeLogix scandal. Then, on October 3rd, Executive Coulter announced financial disclosure, spouse and family protections in line with state law, and the creation of an ombudsman as something he wanted to see this body complete by the end of the year. In mid-October, Chair Woodward introduced his financial disclosure resolution that you're gonna now talk about today. In November, the Miller Canfield report came out. We still haven't seen the full thing, but the not signed memo from the Corporation Council said that county employees broke state law with the ZadeLogix contract. And then today is your last chance to meet the deadline imposed by Executive Coulter and agreed upon by Chair Woodward to fully and properly do financial disclosure, spousal reporting in line with the state requirements, and to create an ombudsperson. So make sure that there's full accountability along with the transparency. But based on all these red lines from Ann Erickson Galt's resolution amendment and all these red lines in this policy that was introduced by Chair Woodward in October, you're not doing that. So I'm asking you, who are you protecting and what are you hiding? So first, a couple of things, because this just got published at 9:15 when you started the meeting and approved the agenda. Financial disclosure says $10,000, it should be $1,000. You remove the spouse requirement for reporting. You remove the real estate and personal property requirement for reporting. You remove the debt requirement for reporting. You made this a voluntary disclosure, and you haven't even begun to talk about creating an ombudsperson as required by Executive Coulter, and you extend the first filing from the beginning of 2026 to be filed May 1st. to up to 2028. How dare you? People deserve better.
Shady.
Anyone else for public comment? All right, thank you very much. That concludes our public comment. Up first, we've got 3 communications items. They're all from Parks and Rec. Parks and Rec, if you'd like to make yourselves comfortable, you've got about 20 items here on the agenda.
We heard that you started a rewards program. Every 10 items, we get a $100,000 appropriation. Is that true, or?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay, all right. Cheryl, you always bring up my parade.
If you'd like to just go ahead, we're just gonna take these 7A, B, and C at your leisure. Feel free to go ahead.
These are the communications items.
Correct, yes.
So, there are 2 grants that we weren't able to meet the board's deadlines, and so the chair signed the waiver. One is for a $400,000 grant to mitigate erosion at Waterford Oaks and along the boundary at Telegraph Road and Children's Village. That's a grant application to the Fish and Wildlife. And then the second one is our annual grant that we received from the Invasive Species Program. We administer the SISMA organization for the county and have in-house staff that provide support for that, and it supports various activities of SISMA throughout the year. And I think the third thing there is just an amendment to the grant app for the invasive species.
Anyone have any questions, comments, concerns about these 3 communication items? Okay, consider them duly heard. That'll take us to our regular recommendations then. I would entertain a motion to recommend to the board item 8A, Parks and Recreation, application to Bird City, Michigan for Oakland County's designation as a bird city. Moved by Commissioner Kirshenson, seconded by Commissioner Juliet.
We have a special guest star on this item, Kristen Wiltfang from Economic Development. This has been a joint endeavor on our part. The Parks Commission was pleased to pass their own resolution requesting to join the Bird City designation. And Kristen has more background, so I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Chris, and good morning, Commissioners. Kristen Wilfang with the Planning Division in the Economic Development Department. This was first brought to our Trail, Water, and Land Alliance back in March from the Oakland Bird Alliance. It's an opportunity to seek designation from the Michigan Audubon Society for the Bird City designation, which was created and started in 2025 at the state level. However, it's been in place since about 2023 at an international level. And so we're really working across departments on this and collaborating with the Board of Commissioners staff, Oakland Bird Alliance, Pollyant Trailway Management Council, Johnson Nature Center, Oakland County Parks, and Economic Development. And it's amazing to see how many people are interested in birding and just getting involved in that. But really the goals are to improve habitat protection, citizen science through the eBird program and app, and then reduce threats to birds that humans have. So light pollution, window strikes are a big thing, and so there are ways that we can help mitigate those things. We also held a World Migratory Bird hike down at Red Oaks back in October. It had a small but mighty group, and it was really great to see the families that were able to join us that day. So before you today is the approval to apply for the designation, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Well, my only question was, it's kind of weird for county to be applying to be a bird city, but we're not the first Michigan county to do this. Iosco beat us to it. So if Iosco's setting the precedent, happy for Oakland to follow along. Any other questions, comments?
You have our support to be mayor of Bird City.
Love it. Well, seeing no other comments, the motion on the table is to recommend to the board. Madam Clerk, please prompt the vote.
You have 7 yeas and 0 nays.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Commissioners. Thank you. I would now entertain a motion to recommend to the board item 8B, Springfield Oaks residential lease renewal with Terry Fosha. Moved by Commissioner Taylor, seconded by Commissioner Loops.
Thank you again, Mr. Chair. We have had a longstanding policy of when we have on-site housing to have residential leases so that we have folks on site. Jim Dunleavy, I think I've introduced you to before.
Yep.
Jim is the heart and soul of Oakland County Parks. He started with us when he was a teenager, and he's a little over his teenager years now.
That's true.
Jim,
Time
do you wanna
flies.
take it from here?
Yeah, so there's actually 2 house rentals on the agenda for today. One at Springfield and one at Groveland Oaks.
Feel free to talk about both right now, actually.
At one time, we had 17 house rentals. And we've really been evaluating being in that type of business or being responsible for all those rentals on our property. So we've really scaled back. Right now, we're at the six main ones. Those ones are in all our parks, and all 6 have parks employees in them. Like Chris said, the part of the original plan, when they built some of the homes, the one at Springfield and the one at Groveland, was actually the supervisors lived in the homes on the property and free at one time. And so over time, that's definitely has changed. So what we're asking today for both of these houses is we want to reevaluate, the rentals and the cost or the fees that we have to evaluate them. We haven't done a fee study since 2017. So what we've done, instead of renewing these for 5 years, we're gonna do it for 1 year. We're gonna do the fee study, reevaluate, give the people that are staying there more time, if they have to move, if they disagree, or we're gonna definitely reevaluate the use of those homes, whether they stay or they become park offices or however, whatever we wanna do in the future with them. But this gives us the time if we do just a 1 year extension. So that's what we're asking for today for both the Springfield and for the Groveland house, the hats and the fuchsias.
Questions, comments? No?
Can you
Okay.
take the votes together?
I only have one motion, it's fine, we'll do it fast. Motion on the table is to recommend to the board item 8B. Madam Clerk. whenever you're ready.
Commissioner Juliet,
Yes.
you have 7 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Same thing, I would entertain a motion to approve the Groveland Oaks residential lease with Robert Hatt. Moved by Commissioner Hoffman, seconded by Commissioner Lubes. Madam Clerk.
You have 7 yeas and 0 nays.
All right, well, thank you on that one.
Thank you.
I would now entertain a motion to approve amendment number 1 to the telecommunications license agreement with Cellco Partnership doing business as Verizon Wireless. Moved by Commissioner Lubes, seconded by Commissioner Hoffman.
Let Jim take this one as well.
Yeah, so this is a cell tower that's at Springfield Oaks. It's actually on top of the water tower out there. So it's pretty hidden, not a lot of people even know that it's there. I always say that it pays the utility bill for the activities in our building. So in the beginning, we were getting, I think, $26,000 a year. With this new extension, we're gonna be up to $49,000. So as it extends out, or the amended amount, so we highly recommend that we move forward with this. There's no disruption to the park or the staff, and it actually really does pay, the heating bill and more now, if we move forward with this.
Any questions? I just had one. Does Cellco doing business as Verizon, who I have heard of, do they have exclusivity? Have we shopped it around to other providers?
I don't know the answer to that, so I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
I know that we've been working with Verizon, and I believe that they will rent to other, units that'll, come on board on top of their tower too.
Sure.
But I don't know the answer to your question, so I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Feel free to look around. I mean, if we're doing it for one, may as well do it for the rest of it.
Yeah,
Anyone who's
we do have cell towers, one other cell tower at Addison Oaks too.
Okay, interesting. Anything else? Motion on the table is to recommend to the board. Madam Clerk, please prompt the vote.
You have 7 yeas and 0 nays.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
I would now entertain a motion to recommend to finance the creation of Parks and Recreation Program Coordinator and Strategic Sourcing Agent position. That's a lot of corporate buzzwords right there. Commissioner Lubes moves that and Commissioner Kirshenson seconds.
Try to throw in the word synergy if you'd like. Yes, thank you again for considering this. This is 2 separate positions. The first is Recreation Program Coordinator, is dedicated to our adaptive recreation program. If you've ever had a chance to see any of the special programming we do for people with differing abilities and increasing their access to recreational activities like our Disability Dirt Days up at the ORV Park, it's pretty amazing. And we have a fantastic lead in that area, Sandy Dory, who's won awards. And we are trying to build up our capacity in that department so we can do more, which was an express intention in the millage passing. While we are taking a conservative approach to creating positions when there is an actual, service benefit for the public, we think it's worthy of your consideration. The second position is a result of conversations we've had with Aaron Wagner, our Chief of Purchasing. Oakland County Parks, its budget has grown at a pretty steady pace. We have a very significant capital improvement program influx as a result of the millage passing. And to have somebody in-house that can work directly with purchasing, coordinating our efforts, because we are a high-volume customer of purchasing, should help reduce bottlenecks, allow us most likely to even find better savings, more value for our dollar. And so this was the result of those conversations. As I said, this would be an in-house person that works on purchasing issues. I have Kevin Sion on line here as well. Kevin's our Chief of Budget and Procurement Issues. Kevin, you want to add anything to that? Okay, Kevin.
He's on mic.
He's on line, okay.
In a few words.
And a few words, so I'm happy to take any questions you have.
Any questions? Commissioner Lutz?
I would just like to note that Sandy Dory lives in Clawson.
Oh,
So-
okay.
That is true.
Well,
Loves it.
people in your area have a big heart, we know that.
Yes, we love to have her, and she's probably been there almost 30 years.
For sure.
Yeah.
Maybe, started as a youngin' again also,
Part of this is also succession planning
yes.
as well, so not gonna be with us forever, but we are hoping to hold on to her as long as we can.
Yes, thank you.
Kevin just muted himself. Kevin, if you're there, would love to hear a few thoughts if you have them. I see you're muting, unmuting, okay, keep going back and forth.
You could do it like Morse code.
Like two spots.
Okay, well,
Kevin says this is a great idea.
anything else? No? Okay, motion on the table is to recommend to finance. Madam Clerk, please prompt the vote.
You have 7 yeas and 0 nays.
Thank you very much. That's been referred to our Finance Committee. I would entertain a motion to recommend to the board, item 8F, Cooperative Service Agreement with the United States Department of Agriculture, Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service for Wildlife Management at Oakland County Parks. Moved by Commissioner Hoffman, seconded by Commissioner Taylor.
So thank you for considering this item. I think it was 2 years ago, we started this new approach, contracting with the United States Department of Agriculture for deer population management. We began it at Addison Oaks. They come in and pull the deer through lethal means. I do have Sarah Cook-Malin on as well if you have some questions. Last year we expanded to Groveland Oaks. And this year we're hoping to expand it also to Independence Oaks. I think you all know the deer population is growing exponentially. It's causing many issues from, upsetting the ecology and the habitat for wildlife, to the deer crashes that your constituents are experiencing. We do intend to do some proactive communication with the Independence Township community surrounding the area, and Commissioner Joliet and I had a conversation about it. This can be controversial, and we're aware of that, so we're going to try to be proactive about communication with the community. So Sarah, do you want to add anything to that?
Good morning, can you guys hear me?
Loud and clear.
Morning. I don't think I have anything to add. That's a great summary, except that we've been doing firearm deer hunting for over 20 years. So this really isn't anything new for Oakland County Parks. It's just a new methodology that we've been using with USDA. So it's really continuing our stewardship of the deer population and just expanding the locations.
So this condenses the time that we have that going on, right, Sarah?
That's right. We used to operate hunts over a few week period. We'd have like 6 to 8 hunts at each park, and now we do like 1 or 2 nights at each park. It really is much more efficient with the USDA staff, and they're much better sharpshooters, so it's much safer for the deer as well. And it all happens at night, which means that we don't have to close the parks, and there's much fewer threats to humans, even though they're incredibly safe in how they operate the program.
One final note, they do donate the meat from the deer culls. I think we had 3,000 pounds of venison from the first year we had our deer cull. So I don't know if you have any questions regarding this.
Commissioner Gershenson, no? I'm happy to see that this was unanimously approved at the Parks and Recreation Commission meeting on November 5th, and thank you for including that note. My only question, and I kind of talked about this last year, and probably the year before too, I mean, we do this every year, and we spend quite a bit of money doing this every year. And basically what we're doing is artificially correcting an ecosystem imbalance, right? And I'm just wondering, like, is this the life we just have to live with because wolves aren't in Oakland County? Or is there anything we can do to not artificially balance
I
that?
think another factor is the decline of the natural hunting population in Michigan as well. It's not as popular of a
Sure, but
pastime
we
as it
haven't
used to
hunted
be.
for food in millennia, or centuries at least.
Yeah. Well, the old father-son going up north and hunting, I've read that has contributed, and climate change has also been a contributing factor. But Sarah, do you have anything to add to that?
Sure, I would just add that, yes, you are correct that we are the predator of deer at this point. Humans are the primary predator of deer in Oakland County. And we also encourage archery hunting. We have archery hunting in 6 of the parks. And Sean Zara, our wildlife coordinator, sits on the Urban Deer Management Coalition, which is a consortium of local communities working together to try to control deer populations, because obviously Oakland County Parks cannot control the Oakland County deer population by ourselves, but we're hoping that through this program we can help encourage and set a pathway forward for other communities to also engage in deer management to really make the program more effective. We think that a combination of hunting and firearm deer hunting with USDA really will make the program overall more successful, because hunters alone aren't able to do enough control, but the combination of hunting, USDA, and then engaging more communities, I think, will be the more effective route. But you're correct, Commissioner Johnson, in that, we have a very artificially high population, and now we have to take some more corrective measures to bring that population back down.
Okay. Just add that it's just one of many measures we do to try to restore a healthy ecosystem, whether it's invasive species control. We also control of mute swans and the beaver population as well. So it's part of the Parks and Rec business.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And thank you, Sarah. I appreciate that. All right, seeing no other comments, Madam Clerk, please come to the vote.
You have 7 yeas and 0 nays.
Thank you very much. That item passes. I would now entertain a motion to refer and recommend to our Finance Committee item G, which is a park development grant agreement with the Charter Township of Royal Oak. Moved by Commissioner Loop, seconded by Commissioner Erickson Gall.
So this is a great example of where past partnerships have helped proliferate our relationship and build over time, even greater positive impacts in the community. And I think you're all familiar with the Charter Township of Royal Oak as a community that has some special needs. It is one of the lowest, probably the lowest income community in the county. Has challenges of lack of tax base in order to sustain a lot of their infrastructure. So when we started working with them a couple of years ago, when ARPA money was appropriated, we saw that they have a very limited park system, and that had been deteriorated significantly Simon Rivers, who is online here. I have a lot of phone friends here today. Simon works very closely with Royal Oak Township, and so after the ARPA playground project that we built for them, they asked for our assistance to write a Spark grant application and to help them through their master planning process, which I think you provided some funding to support. And they did receive a Spark grant, which was the state's ARPA funding mechanism for Parks and Rec to do this renovation of Civic Center Park. And they just contacted us. I came to a Parks Commission meeting a couple months ago, and we're asking if there was a little bit more we could do to help with restoring just basic restroom facilities at the site. So this would provide a $250,000 grant in support of that. Simon, you want to add to that?
Sure. Hi, commissioners. Thank you for having us today. Yeah, as Chris mentioned, the $250,000 match grant is in relation to the almost $1 million Spark grant, which Oakland County Parks assisted Royal Oak Township with the application, as well as we've been providing support along the way during this implementation phase. The restrooms at the park. So Royal Oak Township only has 3 parks, and Civic Center Park is their largest park, where they have many celebrations, graduations, their Juneteenth celebration, their 4th of July celebration. The park does not have restrooms. Restroom facilities was one of the #1 items when we did public engagement, and it's very important for the senior population as well as young people, children as well. With this $250,000 grant, Civic Center's transformation will be complete. The Spark grant provides new playground amenities as well as a new pavilion, a quarter-mile walking track, and now a restroom, 2-stall restroom prefabricated, and this will be the cherry on top of all of our partnership, and it's been a great partnership, and we really enjoy working with them. So I think that's all. Thank you.
Questions, comments? All right, motion on the table is to recommend to finance. Madam Clerk? No, yeah, you're good, you're good. Republican caucus.
You have 7 yeas and 0 nays.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I would entertain a motion to recommend to the board, item 8H. Don't worry, just 3 more parks items, you guys. Strategic Partnership Grant Agreement with the Clinton River Watershed Council to implement the Clinton River Water Trail Comprehensive Plan. Moved by Commissioner Loop, seconded by Commissioner Erickson Gall.
Okay, as you all are aware, we just had a very nice victory with the approval of the Clinton River Oaks Partnership Agreements purchase. It's been one of the most popular things that we've ever endeavored into our social media commentaries. I think it's been the most popular post we've ever had. So building off of that park announcement, we are suggesting to partner with the Clinton River Watershed Council to enhance the Clinton River Water Trail over a 3-year period with a grant of $50,000 a year for each of those 3 years. That will support their hiring of a full-time water trail coordinator, which Oakland County will receive 60% of their time. The grant will be matched through other commitments and funds that they have received from private foundations and state and federal grant sources. It's all about promoting the water trail, getting greater accessibility of the water trail, doing work along the river front there to restore erosion, that type of thing. Sarah, again, might have something to add to that. Sarah?
I think you gave a great summary.
All right, listen to her.
Commissioner Lubes.
What does a water trail coordinator do?
Well, again, it's about promoting access. I think you've been on one or two of our water kayak trips there. So the Clinton River has some of the most beautiful stretches for kayaking in the county. There's not a lot of awareness of that, and in certain stretches, it's not as safe or there's very limited access. And at any point in time, there's also work that needs to be done to remove woody debris, that type of thing. So it's really an enjoyable experience. So that's my best answer. I don't know if that.
Thank you. I wondered if part of it was to clear the waterway.
Yeah, the woody debris is a major issue. Yeah, if you've ever been on the river when it's flowing quickly, that is an experience. I think our chairman of the board got dunked into the river when we did that at if nothing else, this could be the Dave Woodward's iPhone Memorial Grant.
Any other
Thank
comments, questions? Thanks, Commissioner. All right, motion on the table is to recommend to the board. Madam Clerk?
I missed who our first and our second was for this one.
Do you remember? It's Commissioner Lubes and then Commissioner Erickson Galt.
Thank you.
They're all put in together.
You have 7 yeas and 0 nays.
Thank you very much. I now entertain a motion to recommend to the board item 8I, grant acceptance from MDNR for FY26 Off-Road Vehicle Trail Improvement Fund Program. Moved by Commissioner Hoffman, I saw your hand, and then seconded by Commissioner Lubes.
You might know Holly Oaks ORV Park was originally acquired and built through a partnership with the Michigan DNR. We continue to have that partnership. If we are successful in making a surplus, we split the proceeds. If we lose money, we split the cost of the liabilities. And over the last 8 years, we have secured funding through their ORV Trail Improvement Fund grant. This year, we have applied and successfully been awarded $49,000. And that would be utilized to build a new boulder trail at the ORV park. Again, happy to answer any questions you might have.
Questions? All right, motion on the table is to recommend to the board, Madam Clerk.
You have 7 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. And I would entertain a motion to recommend and forward to finance item J, which is grant acceptance from MDNR Trust Fund for and approval of agreement for purchase and sale for the Turtle Woods Nature Preserve acquisition. Moved by Commissioner Erickson Galt, seconded by Commissioner Lubes.
Okay, this is hopefully a milestone along the way in the addition of a spectacular new park to the Oak County Park System. Turtle Woods is the result of many years of work, Six Rivers and the Troy School District to make this happen. I believe it's across the street from Commissioner Erickson Galt, so she can maybe speak to this better than I can, but 71.17 acres. We were successful last year in securing a trust fund grant for the acquisition in an amount of $2.175 million. We've been waiting patiently, although the state budget took a little longer than I think everybody had hoped. And so now that the appropriation has been approved through the budget, this is a step in the process for us to accept the $2.17 million, apply and accept the $2.17 million and proceed with the purchase agreement for that property from the school district. The sooner we can do that, the better, because Six Rivers is acting as an intermediary, and I believe, there's some interest involved, as they have done so over the last year or two, I believe. So, if you have any questions.
Questions?
Thank you.
Nothing? Cool.
I'm just super excited.
Yeah. The motion on the table is to refer to our Finance Committee. Madam Clerk, would you please prompt the vote?
We have 7 yeas and 0 nays.
Awesome, thank you very much, and thank you for winning your marathon.
Absolutely. We're your volume customer.
Yeah. All right, that brings us to our Board of Commissioner recommendations. I would entertain a motion to, I believe this is just to the board, recommend to the board item 9A, compensation for countywide elected officials, moved by Commissioner Taylor, seconded by Commissioner Loops. I don't know, that I can talk about that, I mean, you all, it's a pretty short item. We do this every year. Did you want to talk about that? You're not really in charge either, but like, anyone have questions or comments? For anyone interested in listening, this is the Board of Commissioners, our salaries are determined once a term, so ours are not up for discussion. Per the resolution that determined our own salaries, they are inflation adjusted. We do have to annually determine the salaries for all the countywides. So this item is augmenting those based on inflation. Any discussion? Well, all right, go ahead.
It might be worth mentioning what the percentage increase is.
2.7?
Yeah, it's a little, I think it's a little less than that, but I think that's important.
Thank you. Anything else? No? Commissioner.
I was just looking this up really quick. The CPI for 2025 was around 3%, so I think that it's the percentage just comparatively.
I'm gonna ask you, Cheryl, where did the number come from?
Hi, Cheryl Johnson, Deputy CFO. So this is the number that's used to determine the property tax cap increase. It's called the IRM, it's the inflation rate multiplier. Every year in October, this year it was a little later, it was in November, the state tax commission gets together and they determine what the IRM is. That's what we use to determine the cap on property taxes. That's what we are using to determine the increases in the rates that we're using for equalization and for sheriff law enforcement contracts. It's a specific rate that is calculated by the tax commission. And that's why we use that one, because it's also what we use for property tax increases. And it's called the inflation rate multiplier, and you can find it on the Michigan's state tax website.
Cool, thank you very much, thank you, Commissioner.
Because there are so many CPIs.
Yeah.
So this is the one when we talk about increases for things that we use, because it is the one that we also use for the revenue side. It's the one that we use for the expense side. It makes the most sense.
That makes sense, yeah. Good to have those synced. All right, motion on the table is to recommend to the board. Madam Clerk, please prompt the vote. Thank you, Cheryl.
Sure.
Thanks, Cheryl.
We have 7 yeas and 0 nays.
So thank you very much. That item passes. Okay, I would now entertain a motion to recommend to ED&I, item 9B, providing written notice of charges and scheduling a hearing regarding Road Commissioner James Sasaki. Moved by Commissioner Loops, seconded by Commissioner Taylor. All right, so we're on this item. I am going to take a personal privilege and move the adoption of amendment listed as Johnson Amendment. Do I have a second on that one? Seconded by Commissioner Kirshenson. All right, so discussion on my amendment. So yes, I think 2 lagos ago, we were talking about this last, and I had some questions for council. I feel very confident that the brief changes in the amendment that I'm offering are the correct and proper legal pathway for this action. Yes. Anyone have any other questions for me about it? Or Commissioner?
I have a question about everything in general.
Oh, good.
There was a report done, Zausmer, is that how you say it?
I think so.
Report. I've never seen the report.
I've only seen it as an attachment on an Oakland Press article.
Okay, I've not seen it. And is this resolution to initiate charges against somebody?
It would be, yes.
Okay, I'm not in favor of that. I'd like to have a hearing though, but I am not gonna vote for it because I've not seen the report. I'm all in favor of having a hearing, but I'm not gonna charge anybody with anything and initiate anything until we get more facts. One is the report, and secondly is a hearing.
I appreciate that. Commissioner Juliet?
I appreciate your comments, but if I'm reading this resolution correctly, it says together the opportunity for a hearing before, and then you have it changed to the Board of Commissioners. So the way I'm interpreting this is that this is a chance for a hearing and for both sides to be heard, which I think is important for due process, be it with any body of government, that both sides are heard publicly.
It would do both of those things, yeah.
Yes, okay, so I'm in support of it.
Any other discussion?
Just the comment. I'm all in favor of a hearing, but it says we are voting to initiate charges against someone without a report, without a hearing. I won't go along with that.
Commissioner Erickson Galt?
Yeah, I don't have the statute in front of me, but my recollection from when we talked about this some time ago was that the statute requires charges in order to get to the hearing phase. It's unfortunately how the statute is written, is that you don't have the hearing unless there's charges. So I agree in concept with it, that, you know, it would be nice to have a hearing before we had charges. It'd also be nice to see the report. This is the report that the road commission did, correct? That hired outside counsel to,
It's the only report that I've seen.
it's not a report that we did,
No,
not the commission. Okay,
not one that I know of.
okay. So, you know, I don't disagree with what you're saying. It's just that I think that unfortunately we're kind of penned in by the language of the statute and how it reads, which unfortunately I don't have that in front of me at the moment.
Well,
Let's see if I can.
Sure.
I have not seen the statute, nor am I an attorney, but lots of times you have a preliminary examination to determine if there's
Yeah.
a warrant for charges to be issued. And I would like to see that first.
Well, and I'll say to Commissioner Hoffman, I mean, I think from our last meeting, 2 meetings ago, when I was questioning what the word charges meant, whether or not we as a legislative branch are able to establish charges, I, as a human, am uncomfortable doing that kind of thing with that word, not being a law enforcement official. So I will go ahead and, I'm not changed in that. I'm not a prosecutor, I'm not a sheriff, and I would much rather one of them do it, regardless of whether or not I'm legally able to do it. Any other discussion? Commissioner Loops?
The resolution, initial resolution states the investigation by Zaumer is dated September 19th. The amendment has September 5th everywhere. The dates conflicted, or should it be one or the other?
When I was drafting this amendment, I looked at the report, again, which I've only seen as an attachment on a Oakland Press article. It is dated September 5th on that PDF, and I called Commissioner Spiz and asked him where the 19th came from. He did not know, so was fine changing it to the 5th. I think it's the 5th until someone tells me that it's the 19th.
Thank you.
Yep. Anything else? Commissioner.
Yeah, so here's what the statute says. A county road commissioner appointed under this subsection, which is the statute that gives us the authority to appoint, must not be removed from office before the expiration of his or her term of office without being given written notice of the charges made against him or her and an opportunity to appear before the county board of commissioners for a hearing on the charges. So it's not crystal clear language, but it kind of implies that you have to have charges before you even get to the point of having a hearing on whether they get removed or not. You know,
Thank you.
I didn't write the statute. I was reading it. I think that, and I agree with Commissioner Johnson that the statute is unclear about the process for removing, which is unfortunate. And probably reflects the fact that this doesn't happen very often.
I would just make one, oh, sure, Commissioner Julia, yeah.
Comment. if this was a different circumstance and there had been an Oakland County employee that came and talked at our board meeting about a policy that they didn't like, and one of us went and had a heated discussion with them, I would think it would be important that all facts get vetted to hear both sides so that no employee feels inhibited to come speak. Now, I'm not saying that I'm excited that we have to follow the ordinance that was just quoted, but I think it's important to hear both sides of the story to see how this went down. So employees feel safe.
Thank you. I'm only gonna make one other brief comment, which is and this is less about this particular item and more about our committee in general. I worry as chair of this committee for 3 years now, I worry that our committee has had a growing reputation of the committee that does that handles scandal, frankly, and that is not the role of this committee. We are the appointing body, but in as much as it would be very improper for us to, once we appoint members of the OCHN board, it would be improper for us to dig into policies and personnel issues, any of those operational things. When we have a public health and safety committee that OCHN reports to, it would be improper for us to do that. Same thing with this one. Our COC reports to our Economic Development and Infrastructure Committee, and it would be improper for us to dig into their policies and procedures when there is a committee that oversees that. Yes, we are the appointing body for all of these organizations, but unless it's in that, and these are in our board bylaws, unless it's in that very narrow set of things that we oversee, Parks and Recreation, the clerk's office, that kind of thing, then any other action is inappropriate and improper, which is why I made several other amendments to this, just clarifying that that is not what LAGO does as a committee. But that's my last comment. Madam Clerk, seeing nothing else, would you please prompt the vote?
Alright, we're voting on the Johnson amendment. You have 5 yeas and 2 nays.
Thank you very much. The motion then is to refer to ED&I as amended.
You have 6 yeas, 1 nay.
Thank you very much. That's referred. Moving on then to item 9C. I would entertain a motion to recommend to the board establishment of the Oakland County Financial Disclosure Policy. Moved by Commissioners Lubes and seconded by Commissioner Joliet. There is an amendment. Commissioner Erickson Galt, do you move your amendment?
Yes, I do.
Is there a second on that motion, seconded by Commissioner Gershenson? All right, discussion. Commissioner Gershenson. Oh, I saw your hand, no. Anyone want to discuss?
I'm looking at it and I'm seeing, maybe I don't have all of what was in the
Oh, is the
amendment.
policy not, the policy's not attached?
Policy is attached as your name, it's your name amendment,
Oh,
it's
in
the
the
last
main one.
document. Yeah, so it has your name on as an amendment.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got the amendment summary sheet. Why am I not seeing policy?
It's in the item, not in the amendment.
Oh, got it. Yes, yeah, I see it. Erickson Galt amendment, okay.
Commissioner Erickson Galt.
Thank you, Chair. So I begin by thanking our executive, Dave Coulter, for bringing this issue up. I have long fought for transparency and ethics in government. It's how I even got into running for office. We had some issues in Troy. Before I was even on the council there, I was fighting for these issues. what I'm attempting to present with these amendments, which, and I will say this is the result not solely of Ann Erickson Gall's ideas and concepts. This is about conversations I've had with other commissioners and concerns that they've expressed, and assistance in writing and drafting this. And the idea is that ethics rules, I appreciate the starting point being that we already have a sort of a model of ethics rules from the state legislature. However, ethics and transparency in these issues are not one size fits all. What are ethical issues and potential conflicts for commissioners are not the same as what our legislative colleagues face in Lansing. So the overall attempt here is to try to restructure these ideas and concepts to more closely fit what would be valuable reporting information on behalf of commissioners as opposed to what is valuable reporting information on behalf of legislators. So there's a lot in there, and so if anybody has any particular questions about it, I'm happy to address some of the proposals. But essentially, the idea is to try to make this more pertinent to what we're doing as commissioners and what is valuable for our public and the voters to understand about us, to know whether we are maintaining our ethical standards and avoiding potential conflicts.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Hoffman.
Yeah, I agree with your comments in here because I've been told the same thing, that we have really no enforcement power to implement this. So we could implement something, but people can not volunteer to provide the information. And that comports with the state law, unless they change it in Lansing. And I know we're all in favor of open, honest, transparent government if somebody wants to volunteer or whatever, but yeah, we can't enforce anything.
Correct. Which reminds me of another issue in that there's an attempt in, when I was going through all of this weekend, I was reviewing what the state legislators report on. And I noticed that pertinent to what they're doing, which what they're doing is enforceable because there's actually a statute that requires them to do that. There are actually two public acts involved at the state level, one of which applies to candidates. And I thought that was a noticeable absence from our policy. So if we're going to enact a policy that requires our elected officials to report, then the persons who are running against those officials for election should also be required, or at least, given that it's essentially a voluntary policy, should be strongly urged to report their financial disclosures as well. It's just, again, if the whole purpose is to give our public and in particular our voters an idea of who we are and whether we're operating under ethical standards, it's important to know that everybody on the ballot for these positions are operating under the same ethical standards.
Commissioner Juliet.
Thank you for that, because it's a very good point. Can we make an amendment to add that to this, or is that?
It's in the
Oh, it is, I
amendment.
haven't read all the way down.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, there's a lot in there.
Okay, lots of attachments, but, okay.
But it does include candidates for the same offices.
Voluntarily.
As well as a strong urging for the legislature to actually require this. We do, in your amendment, you do specifically urge the law to be changed.
Right, and I know there's at least one legislator who is attempting to do that. Unfortunately, that proposal, as I understand it, only applies to certain county commissions, and that makes no sense to me why it would apply to county commissions with a certain population as opposed to others. And I believe that our amendment would ask that it apply to all elected officials and candidates throughout the state.
Commissioner Hoffman.
Well, if I understand correctly too, whatever policy we pass is only voluntary process for the Board of Commissioners. We can't pass anything for the other elected officials in Oakland County, if I understand it correctly.
And individual commissioners, it's voluntary for them as well. I mean,
True.
It's for all elected.
Yeah, I mean,
To
what
your
are we
point,
accomplishing?
well, talk to your therapist about that one.
We created a volunteer program.
To your point though, what we can do, and I think what you've done a clever job of including, is in as much as it is legally unenforceable for any of the elected officials to be told, to be mandated legally to do this, we already know that any of our county-wides who have appointed staff, including all of the county executive, the deputy county executives, the CFO, the deputy of all of the county-wides, they already can be forced to do that if their principal did want them to do that. That is a thing. The board cannot make that decision. Individual principals would make that decision. But that's about the only thing, from my understanding, that actually has teeth.
We can't force our staff to do any of this stuff.
Correct.
Right, this is just for the Board of Commissioners, a voluntary program.
You did force the staff to do this with their healthcare plan. They had to sign.
Charlie.
I would just hope that Executive Coulter would adopt such a policy, as it was his press release that initiated this whole deep dive. So I hope that he stands by that and implements it with his deputies.
Any other discussion? Motion on the table is to recommend to the board. Madam Clerk, please pop the ballot. On the amendment, this is on the amendment.
You have 7 yeas and 0 nays.
Okay, and then motion to recommend to the board as amended.
Must be true.
just won't have something to say. Sure.
It's
You
just
got
driving.
translate.
Chair Johnson.
Uh-oh, sorry. Put you off, Wall.
Good morning. Sorry, I'm having some camera difficulties, so I hope it's okay if I just kind of join you by voice. I just wanted to address what Commissioner Joliet said. So absolutely, the county executive and his deputies and the CFO will voluntarily comply with financial disclosure policy. That's 100% the case. We'll do it enthusiastically and really hope that everybody else would do the same as well. We'll have to, read the amendment more carefully. Commissioner Erickson Galt, thank you so much to you and Commissioner Johnson for putting in the work here to come up with an amendment that makes this perhaps better fit county government versus state government. There are a couple things that we might have some concerns about that I'll come back to you with, but we really need to read this a little bit more carefully.
Well, it can be edited again before the full board if you have a Commissioner Joliet.
Just to clarify, Executive Coulter, their deputies wouldn't be voluntary.
If Executive Coulter instituted within his office an office policy, then it would be compulsory within his office. There's nothing we as a board can do.
Right, correct.
Flat out.
Correct, I was just gonna say, for him to adopt it, it would not be voluntary.
Well, and as I understand this, the policy and the amendment as written by Commissioner Erickson Galt includes all countywide non-judicial elected officials on a voluntary basis, right? I think I heard Commissioner Hoffman say it's just for commissioners, but the policy as written includes our other countywide non-judicial elected officials as well, acknowledging that it's voluntary for them. Is that correct?
Well, that's correct. And frankly, I think if the state law changed, our legal voluntary versus not voluntary conversation would also be changed. This amendment does, I think, the most that is possible, which is a policy for, yes, all the countywide and the Board of Commissioners and those, high-ranking non-elected officials that we've discussed to the best that the board can do. The board does not have authority to intervene itself into the inner office operations of, say, the county treasurer and how he manages his staff, or the county water resources commissioner and how he manages his staff. But yes.
Understood. Thank you. Yep, that does. Thank you very much. And you know, the bill, I thank you for pointing out, Commissioner Erickson Galt, that the bill that was introduced, you know, really only, I think, covers 16 out of 83 counties. So either, if the legislature chooses to either, you know, impose financial disclosure requirements or simply allow any county to adopt financial disclosure policies that are binding on elected officials, that would be great too. So, you know, we'd look forward to working with anybody in the legislature who would want to work on something like that.
Madam Clerk.
Would you like me to reset or?
Not necessarily. Is there a vote done?
Yes, the vote for recommending to board as amended on 9C is 7 yeas and 0 nays.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you all for being on. Okay, that brings us to other business. Does anyone have other business they want to talk about today? Announcements. It's Giving Tuesday. This is a long week, I know, of holidays. I hope everyone shopped small on Saturday. I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving with their families. I certainly shopped large on Friday. Somerset saw embers of my existence. And yeah, I just I worked in nonprofits for a while before government service, and Giving Tuesday is a really big deal to nonprofits. They are a really big backbone of our community doing the thankless work. So if you've got a favorite nonprofit, give them a few bucks today. That's it for me. I'm going to adjourn this meeting. It is 10:25.